Getting stuck in a relationship rut is normal. It happens, especially in long relationships, if you've been with your partner for a long time. And it's exactly that. It's a rut. So we're going to talk about that today because sometimes you can correct this just by thinking about how you think about your partner. I'm Stacy Rocklein, and I'm on a mission to eradicate loneliness. So I'm always thinking about what are the things that pull us apart in our relationships and what are the things that bring us back together. And a rut is exactly that. It's just a deep groove that's been worn over time. And I think about it like this. I live really close to the Oregon Trail, which is this famous trail in the United States where way long ago, like covered wagons long ago, people would pack up their stuff all into a covered wagon and they would head west, hundreds and hundreds of miles of uncharted territory. So what would make it easier is following pathways that wagons before you had made. And where I live up on a bluff and there's a river below. And so wagons would have to come from this bluff down to the river, and they would wear these ruts because the more times you take the same trail, the easier it would be. You're not going over new bumps and making a fresh new trail. You're just letting your wagon wheels get stuck in these ruts, and it just makes it easier. So in that case, a rut is a very good thing. And in the case of being in a relationship rut, all that has happened is that you've established a pattern of thinking over a long period of time, and you're stuck in it. Because if you think about it, if the groove is deep enough, once your wheels get in there, you're kind of stuck. It's not really easy to get out of it. You have to very intentionally pave a new pathway. So it's beneficial if those ruts are good things, and it's detrimental if those are not so good things. And our thoughts, how we think about each other, is similar. If I notice something that my partner does and I think to myself, like, that's generous, and I think that thought over and over and over about the things that he does, pretty soon I'm on default. I don't have to think to myself, oh, I need to think the thought he's generous and I need to keep thinking that. My wheels get into that rut and I automatically think that. This is how we end up with, assigning each other characteristics. Like, he's a generous person, he's a good listener, he's a great provider, he's a good dad, whatever. It's also how we assign each other negative characteristics. And you know how this feels when you've got someone in your life that you just think of a certain way. You're like, that person's selfish. And maybe the first time you saw them do a selfish thing, you were like, that's sort of selfish. But the more times that you notice that, and the more times that you had that thought, the deeper and deeper this groove is becoming, to now you don't even have to think it. You just automatically go, oh, selfish person. And it's just a rut. So what we can start to do is to create new pathways. And it's not going to be as easy as one thought one time, right? If you've been thinking about this person as being selfish, and you go, you know what, actually, they just did something that was really generous. It's not like you came in and made a really deep groove of a new default pathway. You're going to have to say that new thought over and over and over again until it feels like it's on default. It feels just as comfortable as the other one. And the first thing we need to do is really just notice. Notice what we're saying about the people we care about. And you can use this on yourself too, because you have been carving the same ruts for years as you describe yourself. You're not even thinking it anymore. The first time you woke up and said, hey, you're a loser, was like, whoa, I'm a loser today. Not I am a loser, but like that's a loser thing that I had done. Now, if I get up every single day and I say that over and over, the first thought I'm going to think when I wake up is I'm a loser. And I'm going to have to correct that thought. So first you have to notice the things that you say about yourself. What characteristics are you assigning you? Are you assigning the people that you care about? If you're in a rut with someone, what are you thinking over and over and over about them that is negative? And then you've got to take a new thought. And you can't BS yourself on this. You can't just all of a sudden be like, I'm going to call them generous even though they never do a generous thing. That's not going to work. Your brain is smarter than that. It's not going to believe that. So you've got to look at them and start to notice all the other facets of who they are. Every person has so many amazing things that they do all the time. And you have got to start carving that new rut, that new trail. Because if you just keep telling yourself, this is an amazing thing about them, this is an amazing thing about them, and that's the messaging that you send to yourself over and over and over and over, eventually that's going to be your default. And you're going to have climbed out of that old rut of thinking about this person that you care about. Now, you've got maybe bigger issues than that, of course, that happens. But when people say stuck in a rut, it isn't usually some big event they're dealing with. They're just feeling stuck. They're feeling bored. They're feeling like, I don't want to do this forever. There's no sparkle here. There's no deliciousness here. There's no juice here. And that's usually just what we're focusing on and what we're thinking about and the characteristics that we have assigned each other. So that's your homework. Think about somebody who you have been maybe judging a certain way, and it's normal. I do it. I've got people in my life that I think of and have put them in a box too. And I'm asking you to disrupt the way that you have judged them and start to notice, like pay attention and notice all the things that are wonderful about them, all the things that they're doing right, all the ways they're contributing in a positive way to your life so that you can start to build these new ruts. All right. Make sure that you subscribe to this channel so that you always get these videos. And I wish you all the best of love in all of your relationships.